Hey guys, I'm happy that you are here. My name is Betchoy and I am your plantito from Mindanao. Tara at samahan niyo ako sa aking plant journey. To those who are new to this channel, especially sa mga hindi pa nakapag-subscribe, kindly click on our subscribe button and click on the bell notification as well para maging updated kayo sa ating mga latest uploads. And also, please follow me on our other social media accounts. So that's aside from our YouTube. We have a Facebook page and our page is Betchoy Vlog, and we also have an Instagram or IG, and our ID is Betchoy_vlog, and let's talk about plants. So for our episode today guys, I'll be sharing with you some of the important points or like care tips that are very important para dito sa pag-aalaga ng ating mga Calathea. And I have received so many questions, so many inquiries, PMs and DMs sa ating Facebook, sa ating YouTube channel, and even on our Instagram na maraming nagtatanong regarding on how do I take care of my Calatheas. Kasi alam ko talaga guys kung gaano ka-sensitive at ka-prima donna yung ating mga Calathea ng mga plants or Calatheas as what we mostly call it. Aminado ako, at the very beginning also, I was really struggling with my Calathea na mga plants kasi di talaga sila madaling alagaan guys. As in, it's a very difficult job talaga to take care of them, and then it's not a very good beginner plant kasi yun nga, kadalasan kapag baguhan ka palang nag-aalaga ng Calathea, madalas talagang namamatayan tayo or natutuyan ng mga dahon or na uubusan ng dahon. So, isa talaga yun sa mga challenges before that I have went through, and then right now successfully naman ay napapalash natin at napapaganda natin yung ating mga Calathea. So along with the experiences in taking care of our Calathea ng mga plants, I was able to take note kung ano ba yung dapat natin gawin, at yun yung isi-share natin sa inyo para naman everybody will be happy. And I also find this episode very timely guys kasi lately nanonotice ko na medyo wet talaga yung season natin, as in like almost every day umuulan dito sa amin. You can see na sa ating background, almost wet talaga yung ating environment because last night lang napakalakas ng ulan tsaka napakatagal ng ulan. So, we can expect na talagang masoak in water or masusok talaga yung ating mga plants. So, in this episode guys, we'll be tackling on the special handling situations or scenarios for our Calatheas para maiwasan natin yung pagkakaroon ng mga damage or casualties, especially during the wet season or the rainy seasons. But before we start with our care tips guys, let me just flex to you yung ating mga Calatheas. Some of my Calatheas that I am really proud of after taking care of them. So, we have here some of our Calatheas, yung ating Calathea na orbifolia. Ito, sobrang lush, proud na proud talaga ako nito guys kasi I actually have 2 pots of this na sobrang lush siya in 1 pot, and it has been like that. At the start talagang nahirapan ako, pero lately lang na-discover ko na nga kung ano ba yung dapat natin gawin para mapa-maintain natin yung kanyang ganda. Meron din tayo dito ang Calathea na green lipstick, and in fact, it's already flowering. So, it means to say na talagang healthy or maganda talaga yung kanyang environment na kanyang pinagkakalagyan. So, also, meron din tayong Calathea na peacock, which is very common dito sa atin sa Philippines. And as you can see here, we already have large leaves, very beautiful na foliage dito. So again, I'm really proud of the situation or the status of our Calatheas here. So ano ba yung mga characteristics ng ating medium for our Calatheas? Number 1 talaga is that it has to be compact. Yung medyo siksik na feeling, yan yung gusto niya based on my experience. Number 2 is that it can still hold moisture. It's also very important na dapat maka-hold din siya ng moisture para meron talagang water na makukuha yung ating plant every now and then. Number 3 is that it has to be draining. Yan yung magiging pambato natin guys in times like this or seasons like this na medyo basa or maulan most of the time. And number 4, dapat meron din siyang nutrients na needed para sa development ng ating plant. And for our Calathea na mga plants guys, I'm actually using 4 components lang, and we will be discussing them one by one kung ano ba yung main purpose niya or yung kanyang role dun sa medium ng ating Calathea. Yung pinakauna, which is majority of the composition, it's loam soil. So take note guys, I'm actually using loam soil for my Calathea na mga plants. In all of my Calathea plants, I'm using yung ating brown soil or pwede ding black soil. Basta yung regular lang na soil na makikita natin sa labas ng ating bahay. And that is 60% by composition. So yung ating loam soil, yan yung magbibigay ng parang compact feels or compact characteristics dun sa ating medium na which I feel is gusto ng ating mga Calathea. And at the same time, siya din yung mag-hold ng moisture para sa ating plant. And also, alam naman natin guys na yung ating mga loam soil, meron din siyang mga organic materials or nutrients that is also needed by our plant. And the second component for our soil mix or our medium is pumice, and that will comprise 20% by volume. So, yung mention ko guys yung mga components natin, it's on a per volume basis. So what we need to do is that if meron tayong 10 cups para sa ating measurement, so kanina na mention ko na soil natin or yung ating loam soil, that's 60%, so equivalent yan to 6 cups. So ngayon naman yung ating pumice, that's 20%, so pwede siyang gawing 2 cups of the 10 total cups natin. So yung pumice natin, yung pinaka main purpose talaga niyan guys ay para sa water drainage ng ating medium. So again, it's very important talaga na draining yung ating medium kasi ang mangyayari, just like right now na medyo basa or wet or rainy and almost every day talaga, it's very important talaga that we provide yung ating medium na magkaroon siya ng characteristics na draining. Dapat hindi talaga ma-stuck or maging stagnant yung water doon sa ating pot. So that's the main purpose of our pumice. What happens when we add pumice in our medium? Ang mangyayari dyan is that siya yung magbibigay ng parang spaces in between dun sa ating loam soil. Kasi again, that's 60% volumes and then we add in 20% of our pumice. Yung pumice naman, we all know guys that that's a porous na material. So, parang mangyayari is that yung water, kapag dumaan siya dun sa ating medium na majority is loam soil, pwede siya mag-pass through doon sa mga stones and at the same time, magdi-drain talaga siya papunta doon sa ilalim. So, yan yung kanyang pinaka-main contribution doon sa ating medium. And for my pumice, I'm actually using here a Mongo size na pumice. So, yung kanyang size siguro nasa mga half a centimeter. So, around mga 5 mm siguro. So, yan naman guys, it's readily available lang sa mga online shops, sa Shopee, Lazada, and even in Marketplace. At if ever naman guys, hindi available yung ating pumice, you can opt to go to other alternatives. So, pwedeng perlite yung gagamitin natin. I do not suggest lang yung gamitin natin yung mga pebbles kasi yung pebbles, it's very smooth and sort of hindi siya porous. So mangyayari, parang kakapit lang din yung lupa dun sa surface natin mga pebbles at walang water drainage or porosity na mangyayari. The next component naman natin ay ang ating cocoa cubes or yung ating coconut husk na chop-chop. So in my case guys, dito sa ating Calathea, ginagamit ko yung mga finely or medyo maliliit na sizes na cocoa cubes. At yung main purpose ng ating cocoa cubes, it will promote some sort of aeration din doon sa ating medium. So again, yung cocoa cubes naman natin, it's a non-compact na material. So mangyayari po, pwede ding mag-drain doon yung tubig if in case na maging stuck siya doon sa ating medium. Hindi naman available yung ating mga cocoa cubes, you can have to go to other materials naman such as dried tree barks or anything na makapag-produce ng aeration dun sa ating medium. And the last remaining component will be our fertilizer, and most of my plants talaga I'm using vermicast, and that will be 10% by volume composition. So ito yung magiging main pataba dun sa ating plant. That's our organic na fertilizer, yung vermicast or worm casting. Now if ever hindi naman ito available, pwede tayong gumamit ng mga animals manure, pwede sa cow, goat, or sa horse, or any other pwede nating mapaggamitan. And if in case talaga hindi siya available, you can opt to go to mga chemical-based na mga fertilizer just as long as you follow the instructions doon sa kanyang labels. We just need to be very careful in using yung mga chemical-based na mga fertilizers kasi kapag na-overfeed natin sila or na-sobrahan natin yung paggamit ng mga chemical-based fertilizers, it's going to be very evident dun sa ating mga dahon. Makikita natin na nagkakaroon ng mga browning or yellowing yung mga tips, and that's a clear sign na na-overfeed natin yung ating mga Calatheas. So, yun yung ating first important point in taking care ng ating mga Calathea, yung pag-provide nito ng very good at yung kanyang akmang-akma talaga na medium. So with that, proceed tayo sa ating second na care tips or yung ating important salient points para sa ating Calathea, and that is on the placement or where are we supposed to place our Calatheas. So for my Calatheas, I place them in an area na bright and shaded. So a little bit of care tip lang din guys, yung ating mga Calatheas, they can actually thrive in areas from medium to low light. So that's the reason why pwede natin silang ilagay indoors or pwede ding, actually most of the time talaga, pwede talaga silang outdoors. One thing I've also noticed with our Calatheas is that ayaw na ayaw nila ng too much sun exposure, especially yung direct sun. Ayaw na ayaw talaga nila nun guys, kasi mangyayari niyan, and I have observed and experienced it firsthand, doon talaga nang sa start magkakaroon ng mga sunburns or pagkakasunog ng ating mga dahon. And it's very important, guys, that in taking care of our Calathea na mga plants and all other plants in general, we need to take note kung ano ba yung kanyang natural habitat. So that's really one thing that we should be highlighting or like putting in mind. Yung ating mga Calathea sa kanilang natural habitat, especially yung mga local ones lang na makikita lang natin dito sa wild, they are actually surviving or thriving in areas under big trees. So parang shaded talaga sila ng ating mga malalaking mga puno sa ground. One thing I also need to point out with you guys, maybe you have also observed this in most of our Calatheas, that they have this colorful na underleaf. So most of the time talaga they have this green na foreground or dito sa face na kanyang mga dahon. But then on the underside naman, makikita natin na meron siya ibang color, which is most of the time may pagka-maroon. So most of our Calatheas, ganyan talaga yung kanyang characteristics. And based on my research also and understanding with that is that yung ating mga Calatheas, they have this specific or like certain characteristics na para siyang nagsisave ng light. So some sort of parang solar panel siya na nag-absorb ng light, and then at the same time, pinipreserve niya ito para maging sustainable ito all throughout the day. So it's the reason why na parang ayaw talaga nila ng too much sun exposure or very bright na area na under the sun, kasi they themselves pwede na nilang store yung light doon sa kanilang mga dahon. So therefore, it's very important for us to take note and observe yung ating mga Calatheas kung nagkaka-experience na ba sila ng too much sun exposure. So yung pinakauna talagang makikita natin ay ang pag-fade ng kanyang mga color. So most of the time, yung ating mga Calatheas, they have this dark green or bright green na mga colors, and if they are experiencing too much sun or na-overexpose sila ng sun, mangyayari is magkakaroon ng fading yung kanyang mga color. So it would start to go parang light green siya or close to being brown na. So yan yung dapat nating bantayan dun sa ating mga Calatheas. So yung constant na overexposure sa sun ng ating mga Calatheas, eventually it will result to sunburning, at ang mangyayari dyan, guys, makikita natin na magkakaroon talaga ng mga browning yung mga tips ng ating mga dahon at yung pagkakaroon din ng mga holes. It's a clear sign na nasa sunburn na yung ating mga Calatheas. So again, guys, yung ating mga Calatheas, dapat i-place lang natin sila sa mga areas na bright and shaded na area. Dapat wala siyang direct sun, and as much as possible, kung pwede lang talaga, shade natin sila sa mga trees na andito sa labas ng ating mga bahay. That we have tackled on the correct areas kung saan natin dapat ilagay yung ating mga Calathea plants, let's proceed sa ating third care tip naman, and that is on taking note of the humidity kung saan nakalagay yung ating mga Calathea na mga plants. One thing I've also noticed with our Calathea na mga plants, guys, is that they love to be in areas which has high in humidity. So it's the reason why it's very advisable talaga na i-group natin sila together with some other plants, not necessarily na mga Calatheas lang sila. So pwedeng group of Calatheas or pwedeng group of other plants as well, because they create some sort of a microenvironment on their own at na-maintain nila yung high in humidity na area. So another thing naman na pwede natin gawin is through misting, para most of the time medyo humid or moist yung ating environment. Yung kanyang hangin sa kanyang surrounding medyo moist, or pwede din tayong gumamit ng mga humidity plates. That is parang plate, mayroon mga stones or pebbles dun sa ilalim, dun natin ilagay yung ating mga Calathea plants. And if meron naman tayong budget, pwede talaga tayong gumamit ng mga humidifier, especially kapag sa indoors natin nilalagay yung ating mga Calathea na plants. One trick that I also do with my Calathea plants is that yung ground kung saan nakalagay yung ating mga Calathea na mga plants, binabasa ko sila para at least constantly mag-evaporate yung water dun sa ating ground, and that will provide the humidity needed by our Calathea na mga plants. And by the way, guys, regarding pala sa misting na na-mention ko kanina, I just do misting on a regular basis, especially kapag mainit or yung mga summertime na talagang constantly mainit yung weather natin. Now, kapag medyo maulan naman or wet yung season, then there's no need for us to do misting. So, if in case mainit yung weather, I regularly mist my mga Calathea plants like twice a day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. So, let's proceed naman sa ating next na care tip for our Calathea plants, and that is on the watering schedule for our Calathea plants. Now, yung mga Calathea natin, guys, they are moist-loving na mga plants, pero ayaw nila yung soaked in water. So, di pwede yung basang-basa talaga sila na meron swimming pool dito sa ating pot. Dapat draining talaga yung ating medium. So, one thing that we should be taking note of before we water our Calathea plants is that dapat ma-ensure natin na yung first top inch ng ating soil or yung ating medium is totally dry before we decide on watering our Calathea plants. By the way, guys, there's this one thing that I've observed every time na bumibili ako ng mga Calathea plants from gardens, especially dito sa amin, is that they are usually using yung mga coco peat based na mga medium. So before, I've tried asking yung mga gardeners kung bakit yan yung ginagamit nila, and the reason to that is that yung coco peat kasi it's light as compared to loam soil. So alam naman natin na sa mga gardens, the plants are fast moving, plants come and go. So if ever they are using yung loam soil, which is kinda mabigat or heavy, magiging mahirap sa kanila mag-transfer to another location or mag-repot or whatsoever. So it's the reason why na they're just using the coco peat. So it's very important for us to take note and observe and maybe ask yung ating garden na pinagbilhan natin mga Calatheas kung ano ba yung medium na ginagamit nila. Now later on, kapag nakuha nyo na yung inyong mga Calathea at nadala nyo na sa inyong bahay, I do not suggest na i-repot sila immediately. It's very important na dapat makapag-adjust muna sila sa environment in your area. Then siguro a week or two before you try to change on the medium to the correct medium niya na kanyang kailangan. So alam naman natin guys na once andito na sa ating bahay yung ating mga plants, it's already our sole responsibility in taking care of them. So it's very important for us to do some research or background checking first, kung ano ba yung necessary na mga notes na dapat i-take note natin before buying yung mga plants natin. And in watering our Calathea plants, it's very important that we provide them with their sufficient amount of water. So we do full watering. So i-water natin yung topsoil natin, the entire surface, until such time na makita natin na mag-drain na yung water dun sa ilalim ng ating mga potholes. Now again guys, it's very important na kung gagamit tayo ng mga pots, especially yung mga plastic pots, dapat meron siyang right amount of potholes para makapag-promote talaga ng water drainage. I also need to point out guys na yung ating pag-water ng ating mga Calathea plants, wala siyang specific frequency. It will still depend on the weather situation in your area. So kung mainit or yung summertime, we can expect na magiging mabilis yung pag-dry out natin mga medium. So we may have to water them at least once a week or maybe twice a week depending kung nag-dry na ba yung ating topsoil, at kung medyo basa naman yung ating weather or constantly raining, then there's no need for us to water na yung ating mga Calathea plants. Let's proceed to another care tip na talagang importante also, as important din siya sa mga na-mention natin na care tips earlier. And that is the use of some pesticides, some fungicides, and insecticides. Yan guys, it's also very important na talagang mag-apply tayo ng mga fungicide, pesticide, insecticide para mapangalagaan talaga natin yung ating mga Calathea plants. Now, yung na-observe ko din with our Calathea plants is that they are very prone talaga sa mga insects. Yung mga maliliit na mga insects, yung mga mealybugs, may mga kahit na mga langgam, inaatake din sila. Tsaka yung mga higad, favorite talaga nila yung ating mga Calathea plants. So it's very important for us to use yung mga iba't ibang mga pesticides, insecticides, or fungicides. Depende kung what you are using, kung ano yung preferred nyo, as long as effective siya. And in my case naman, I just would like to share na yung ginagamit ko, most of the time talaga is yung neem oil extract. So I'm using the Leafy Glow PH na mga neem oil extract based. I just shake it and apply it sa ating mga Calathea plants at least once a week. And I just do the application in the afternoon or kung kailan medyo malamig na yung panahon. And if ever naman guys, kung gusto nyo gumamit ng other insecticide, pesticide, and fungicide, pwede naman gumamit ng diethane na mixture, pwede yun yung gamitin ninyo, or some other natural na mga homemade na mga insecticides, pesticides, fungicides, pwede din naman yun yung gamitin natin, as long as ma-protect lang talaga natin yung ating mga Calathea plants. And in relation to the use of pesticides and insecticides for our Calathea plants guys, there's also this one thing that I would like to share with you, and that is constantly cleaning yung mga dahon ng ating mga Calathea plants. Now, I just use most of the time talaga, like as in 99% lang, at pinapahiran sila ng malinis na tela or yung clean cloth. In that manner, marami siyang purpose guys. Number one is that for beautification or aesthetics purpose, napapaganda natin yung mga dahon. Second is that nalilinis din yung mga dahon, so that means to say na yung mga pwedeng mag-block ng absorption of lighting, natatanggal natin yung mga alikabok or yung kung ano-ano mang andyan para mas maging maganda yung ating absorption of light ng ating mga Calathea plants. At third reason is that in cleaning the leaves of our Calathea plants, dapat i-include din natin yung underleaf guys ha. It's very important na dapat isama talaga natin yung underleaf. So in cleaning the leaves also, ang mangyayari is that naaalis or natatanggal din natin yung mga iba't ibang mga insects or pests na pwedeng nakapag-infest doon sa ating mga dahon. So kung medyo kapos tayo sa oras guys, pwede namang gawin natin is i-shower natin yung ating mga Calathea plants. Again, yung dahon dito sa itaas, basahin natin sila with running water. And then dapat i-take note talaga natin na isama din natin yung underleaf na ating mga Calathea plants. And in relation to the cleaning of our Calathea ng mga plants, I know guys there are so many products out there na mga leaf cleaners. I just cannot make a stance regarding that one kasi hindi ako gumagamit ng mga leaf cleaner as of the moment. Pero if ever kung gugamit tayo ng mga leaf cleaners, I suggest lang na gamitin yung mga water-based, hindi lang yung oil-based na mga leaf cleaners kasi there's a chance talaga na makaklog natin yung mga dahon ng ating mga Calathea plants. The effects may not be noticed immediately, but in the long run guys, magkakaroon talaga ito ng damage dun sa ating mga plants. So that would be it guys. That would be our episode today regarding the care tips for our Calathea plants. And I hope na nag-enjoy kayo at meron din kayong mga natutunan. So before we end our video, let us do our shoutouts. Shoutout kay Custodio Labaniego. Shoutout also to Nisa Carillo. Shoutout na rin kay Carl Alicando Gisma. Shoutout also to Pia Montero. Shoutout na rin kay Metelin Hawe. Shoutout also kay Gerardo Domingo. Shoutout na rin kay Merlin Cadiz. Shoutout also to Vina Simeon. And shoutout na rin kay Lorna David. So guys, if you happen to like our videos, please do not forget to click on the like button. Share it to your families, to your friends, and to your loved ones. And if bago ka pa lang po sa ating channel, please do not forget to click on the subscribe button and click on the bell notification as well para maging updated kayo sa ating mga latest uploads. Once again, this is Bet Choi, your plantito from Mindanao. Happy planting!